the internet has become a vessel that has been used for many good things and some not so good things. And one of the wonderful things is the plethora of questions that are being asked and are being answered across the internet. And the yeshiva has really been one of the forerunners in this area of being able to be accessible to people really literally all over the world. In any area of halakha or any area of Jewish thought or questions that they may have. Of course, the complexity, as you said, is that the difficulty in knowing who's the questioner, what is really the question being asked. When somebody comes to me and sits with me, I can see what they want, what is it that they're after. When it's internet and it's anonymous sometimes, we don't know where they're coming from. Sometimes it's a question related to things to do with their community, that maybe we're getting in front of their communal rabbi or their communal leadership, questions related to husband and wife, how are we able to give an answer, maybe that answer will then be used sometimes, not always to the good. So we have to be able to be explicit, we have to be able to guide, but also to be able to be very sensitive to the questions and to the possible aura around the question that isn't always known from the very short and concise way that the questions are asked on the internet.
Yeah, what we're seeing here today is actually that the rabbis who are leading the Atar Yeshiva and other projects like this are warning, are saying, beware, be careful.
Well, this is a gathering of rabbis who have been answering, and there are thousands and tens of thousands of questions that have been answered on Atar Yeshiva and on other such websites. And really this is a opportunity to get together and to discuss some of the complexity. And Rav Zalman Melamed and Rabbi Ariel, Rav Ratzon Harus, and the other rabbis that are here, the senior rabbis, are really warning that we need to answer. We can't brush it off. We can't ignore this wonderful and incredible technology. But yet we need to be able to be very clear about the limitations and the guidelines that younger rabbis are able to guide people, but yet not make mistakes and not unfortunately trip up and to get into areas where we instead of doing help, we're actually doing some harm.
One of the issues when talking about this, and this is very relevant for some of the issues that you answer on, which is the more intimate issues, is what is also published. A person asks a question, but you also have to decide whether it's published for other people to see the answer.
Yaakov Ariel, the Rav of Ramat Gan, just raised the question that a lot of the times the questioner, at least on yeshiva, has the possibility of saying, I don't want this to be published, but often they don't press that button and they're happy to have their question published. And yet we, the rabbis, have to sometimes make that call and to say, even though they're not worried about maybe being exposed, this is an issue that is so specific and is so possibly to be misunderstood, that we would prefer that to be for the specific questioner. And there are other ways of publishing things that can be maybe more public knowledge, but there are certain questions, and especially as you say it, in the area of family purity, that is so personal, and it's different if it's a couple who have been married for a long time, or a couple that's married for a short time, a couple that are trying to have children, not trying to have children. Sometimes we get even those such questions from single people who are just interested, and so many of these questions we need to learn what are the limits, and I think that a gathering such as this is such a wonderful thing. A, because it shows us there's lots of people who are doing the same thing, and because it really is a chance to raise some of those things, to hear and to discuss some of the complexity, some of the limitations, and to get these clear guidelines from people like Rav Melamed.
And so we see that in days when we're talking, rightfully so, about the serious dangers to education, to purity, from the internet, there's also something here that we're seeing that can only be done through the internet.
I think that the Yeshivat Betel a long time ago already understood that the internet is a wonderful, wonderful vessel, a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to educate and to use it for learning Torah. And anything that can be used badly, of course, can be used well as well. And instead of ignoring it and saying we shouldn't have internet and it should be something that we immediately say is not kosher, let's try and find what it can be used for the good, and the ability, the possibility to spread Torah, the possibility to be available for questions, and in a way that's so readily available. Everybody has a smartphone in their pocket. They can really ask a question and get an answer anywhere they are in the world within a short amount of time. That's really an incredible opportunity, and we have to learn how to use it well.